You want to hear the goofy thing that happened to me like the other day? Well, it didn't even happen to me. Like, it's just I was listening to something and I thought
This
it was
didn't
goofy.
happen to me. This is a made-up story.
In the first aeon, I was the Great Spirit. In the second aeon, men knew me as the Horned God, Pangenitor, Panphage. In the third aeon, I was the Dark One, the Devil. In the fourth aeon, men knew me not, for I am the Hidden One. In the fifth aeon, I appeared before you as Baphomet, the god before all gods who shall endure to the end of the earth. In this new aeon, I appear to you as CMN.
Imagine that there is a brilliant white light just above.
Is commentary on the magic art.
In the years of the primal force, in the dawn of terrestrial birth.
Oh, that was very educational.
Now magic will take place. Don't be fooled by what I just said.
Welcome, everyone. Welcome. I am Smosh Kennedy, and this is Chaos Magic News, where our retirement plan is World War III. Joining me this week is my ascended co-host, Markiplier Garvey. How you doing, Garvey?
Hello, my name is Markiplier Garvey, and this joke is just really for me. How are you today?
Oh, it's been a hell of a week. How about you?
Oh man, it's been one hell of a day, and we're only 2 hours into it.
Oh, Jesus.
We're recording. Recording 2 a.m.
Yeah, so expect a real low energy one this week, folks.
Yeah, well, I don't know.
We'll be
I think
funny. We'll be clever.
When
we'll
are we
do
not?
our thing.
When are we not funny and not clever? Except all of the other times where we weren't funny or clever.
Yeah, before, looks at the last 15 episodes. We'll get it right this time, folks.
Self-deprecating humor is such a bad look. We need to be overwhelmingly positive and braggadocious.
I think we do more than enough of that. I think the point of us being self-deprecating is that we know we're the best, and that's why our failures are something to laugh about, because even though we're the best, we still ain't shit.
Wow, now that
I can make fun of myself because I'm great.
If anyone ever wanted to sum up what it's like being a good occultist, that would be it. I'm really good at this, and I still ain't shit. I should have learned welding or something.
Got this stupid astrology degree when I should have been welding.
Oh, boy. Now that's going to be a hot button issue. Okay. So we're going to jump right into our opening discussion this week, right?
Don't we always?
No, sometimes we meander at the beginning of the episode and just sort of get a little lost, and then I have a long pause, like...
Don't actually pause, please. Please, I'm begging you. I'm absolutely begging you. I will give you dollars.
Oh, boy. Okay. But no, so this week we wanted to talk about ideas in the occult sphere that are taken for granted, I think was the way that I described it, or ideas that are so ubiquitous that they're never really challenged.
Yeah. Things that we all kind of believe in the occult that we don't necessarily examine all the time, and it's a wide variety of them. I don't think any person believes every single one of these ideas we're going to talk about, but more than likely you have at least one somewhere, and if you don't,
well,
congrats, you won, I guess. Buy me a
you
soda.
are what? Never mind.
It's that Mike Doty thing.
If Bono was here, what would you say to him? I'd say, go get me a soda.
It's a joke only for me.
This episode is only for me. There. Now you've got a title. So right off the bat, one that is just everywhere, right, is the chakra system.
Oh,
Like,
right.
and
Yeah.
we can first off we can talk about the 7 chakras where it goes from root to crown, and there's the 5 in between, that sort of thing. That's everywhere, and people talk about various yogic practices, and they just bring those up like that is just the straightforward. Yeah, these are the thing, and they're definitely objectively real, and they definitely objectively function in this sort of way, where my heart chakra is this. And then you can even talk about like the rainbow color scheme that got imposed on it mostly by the West, and that completely fails to acknowledge that, like, I believe one of the earliest chakra systems that we have text for is a 5-point system. And then it also describes them as these are installations that you build within yourself rather than something that exists objectively. It's always that lovely term of prescriptive, not descriptive. There's other systems where 10 chakras, 100 chakras, 3 chakras, 94 chakras. You know, there's pick a number and there's probably a system.
Yeah, there are smaller ones too. There are things that have only like 3 chakras. The Tibetan Buddhism doesn't even get down so much on the chakra points as they do the 3 channels.
Yeah, well, if I remember, they talk about the various points being like the knots that are in the center channel happen because the right and the left channel bind around the central channel. Already, there's you're getting into a very specific model of a model of a model, because it's like, all right, here's the description of points in this energetic subtle body. Well, all right, that makes the assumption that there is an energetic subtle body. That goes into the idea that like energetics and an energy model is valid and right off the bat. And I guess that's why I think it's such a good example, because to take the 7 chakras as they are brings a whole host of assumptions that largely go unchallenged.
Right.
You've now brought in a whole bunch of ideas that you're either not fully thinking through the implication of what belief you're using, or you have accepted a bunch of ideas completely with no discernment. I guess you're just saying like, oh well, yeah, chakras, yogic practices, yeah, that's fine, go, whatever. Yeah, that's the thing. I guess the problem is that, especially in chaos magic, no one ever really wants to go like, that's total, bullshit nonsense. But definitely nobody wants to go, hey, that's a bunch of total bullshit nonsense on something that is like an ancient tradition.
Chakras specifically get sort of like dragged in without any sort of discernment is because oftentimes people use them in a very limited sort of way, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Sometimes they attach them to other models and kind of make them sync up or something, but oftentimes it just is like a facet of meditation practice for people. So I guess in their mind it's like, oh, well, it doesn't have to affect my greater metaphysics or any of that nonsense. In fact, it doesn't really have to affect my practice beyond I use it for meditation type stuff and yoga. But
then you can,
like you said, you're still just grabbing an idea and accepting it and using it without any greater kind of discernment about why you would try this, especially like in the sense of being a chaos magician who has a meditation practice or something like that. Then there's literally no rules other than what are you attempting to do with it, and you can
that's
make
sort of
up
the
your own
thing.
chakra system like right now.
Yeah,
You have
could just-
174 chakras.
well,
This is my pinky chakra.
Well, and ironically, that's where I was going to go. It's like, what if you just made the base assumption of like, all right, I'm going to meditate and I'm going to focus all my attention on my fingertips for the entire duration of it. if you meditated on those long enough, would you start coming to the conclusion that there's like all the energy in the world is flowing out from my fingertips, or in from the universe into my fingertips? So it's like, is that just a byproduct of intense focus on a single point of the body?
Mm-hmm.
I don't want this to come across like we're talking ill of this, because I find lots of ideas incredibly useful. It's just you should sometimes unpack these ideas and really like strip them away and start taking looks at them and being like, what part of this is actually useful? Because if the idea is, oh, well, this is just part of my meditation practice, maybe you should ask yourself, like, is it necessary?
Right. And even ask yourself, what are you trying to do with it? Because in a certain sense, using the chakras as any aspect of your meditation should be for the sort of prescribed reasons in yogic text, which all tend to end up back somewhere of like realizing divinity or Brahma, or
at the very least installing these points as the thrones for deities, essentially, or divine energies. That sort of thing.
Or raising the Kundalini, as it were, that sort of thing.
Yeah, that's another one.
But what would be the point of that if you weren't trying to accomplish that? If you have to, what are you actually? What does raising the Kundalini actually mean for you as a chaos magician? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, is it just reaching the kind of void state of spare? Is it that you're going to have some sort of greater consciousness alteration of some kind? Like, what's it doing? And what are you actually trying to accomplish with it? So, like you said, you could very quickly do some testing and work on this stuff and see if it's actually going to get you anywhere. I mean, it might take you a while. That's the other thing, obviously, is that people take these really deep traditional systems and kind of grab them real quick without unpacking them either on a conceptual level or a practice level. But that's another story.
But I guess that's always the difference between, are you taking something and running with it because it's a tried and true method? So it's like the idea of like, I just need something that is going to work, or are you trying to be experimental and really get down to what is going on? And there's no wrong answer. If you're using meditation to get the described results of meditation, then go for it. If you're using meditation as a means to experiment with your, for lack of a better word, God, we say that so much. If you're doing it to experiment with your consciousness or your state of being for magical purposes, especially if you're a chaos magician, then there's a certain level of needing to do those sort of deprogramming, or those constant questionings of things that come across as
established.
Established is a great way of putting it.
The meditation and the yoga aspect leads me to my second big one. And a lot of people don't necessarily use this term for it, but it's the sort of yoga chara-ism of chaos magic and occultism in a greater sense.
Tell.
Oh, well, it's the mind-only school of Buddhism, as it were.
Oh, the Kabbalion. Everything is mental phenomena.
Yeah, everything is cognition and all of those sorts of things. When you actually realize what's going on here, it's all empty, shunyata, yada yada.
Well, I think the issue with that is that, by and large, people hear the everything is mental phenomena or everything is in your head. Like, that is the end of the discussion.
Right.
That's when you get into like these law of attraction type ideas where you think like, if I just change the way I think about things, everything's going to move itself around me. A lot of times it comes across as solipsism with extra steps.
Oh, definitely. Or just matrix fetishism stuff.
Yeah.
The best or the worst, depending.
Because on the Buddhist end, you have to get to the idea of it's all empty. Everything is empty without unconditioned quality. And for that, you have to have the proper view of emptiness. And that's incredibly hard.
Yeah, especially because Buddhism doesn't agree on it at all.
Yeah. And that's...
I'm a Tsongkhapa man myself. The other side of that, too, beyond the sort of lawn Milo, it's all in your head, but you just don't know how big your head is stuff too.
I was thinking of that quote this entire time.
Oh yeah, you got to. It's the easy one. But even beyond that, I think it affects so much, especially in chaos magic, because people love the idea and don't examine it in any real sense. And I think it's more so because, in their minds at least, it's not that it's an idea that's worth entertaining and using right from the gate because it's the antidote to materialism in a lot of people's mind.
You know what? Yeah, I'll
So much of it's associated with that already because the idea of thought forms and egregores relies really heavily on it in a lot of people's practices.
and we've talked about that before with the idea that I don't think because a lot of people think something really hard that it makes reality just turn on a dime, It's a lot there's so much more nuance to that sort of discussion. You don't create
I really hate it because it's like it's like some Marxists tried to explain reification to them and then they stopped paying attention and they're like, oh, I have a crazy occult idea from that wizard I talked to.
Absolutely. I think it is useful in the idea of the antidote to materialism is to understand how wobbly reality is. The reality that we experience is thanks to your nervous system, at least on I guess on a baseline that all of your sensory expressions and your information processing is what's going on in your brain. Now, granted, if you were to rip your brain out from your body in a weird hypothetical, what would you lose? That sort of thing, brain in a jar type arguments. But we don't have anything to really go on there. We just know that all we experience is because of a certain developed type of meat that can handle electricity in a funny way.
On the other hand, I don't necessarily think that most people, even materialist, operate in that sense. Like that might be what they think if you ask them about it, but I think the Cartesian dualism of the mind being this entirely separate thing that's not even necessarily in the brain kind of permeates a lot of that. I think we operate in that way.
I would even go on a more baseline level that I think by and large, people that are materialists don't actually spend a whole lot of time in their body, if you know what I mean.
That's the unexamined, taken for granted idea of the non-occult, I suppose, too, right? The myth of the given, as Dreyfus used to call it.
I think another one that gets thrown around a lot is the notion of this sort of, and this is a somewhat of an extension of the everything's mind, but it's that panpsychism or pantheism, where it's the idea that consciousness is this ever permeating, the metaphor of the radio, where it's like consciousness is everywhere. It's just humans are like radios that are picking up the signal transmission.
Oh, right.
Or the notion of that pantheism of like God is in everything and everything is just an expression of one unified continuous being. And
okay.
These are not bad ideas. We are not bagging on these things. There are people who have done much more work than us that have been writing and studying these sort of things and documenting these experiences. And a lot of people come to these very similar conclusions. But I think it's always an interesting idea to try to flip that on its head. What if you were to make the assumption that consciousness is something that has to drag itself out from the sleeping god of matter? The idea that the Taoist ideas of building up the soul in life, or that sort of thing of the Gnostic notions of like, well, yeah, if you have to actually build up your spiritual presence if you ever hope to escape this world. Otherwise, you're just going to be trapped within this world of matter. Maybe this notion of spirit as something that, like biology, is growing and changing and adapting, and it had to fight for its right to party. That could be an equally interesting idea that doesn't really get talked about a whole lot. Besides, even the examples that I'm using are not box standard, everywhere kind of discussions in these circles. And then the idea that God is in, and I met that one's a little more prone to dualism of like, it's because sometimes you can kind of come to the idea of like either God is in everything or God is completely apart from the material. And that's just dualism. But another thing we take for granted is non-dualism. Everybody really, really wants to go like, no, there's no black, there's no white. Everything's just sort of a gray. And that's literally the gray fallacy. Ooh. Maybe things look like things and things sound like things, but the fact is that things are things and things are not every other thing.
Right.
Well, I think it can be incredibly useful to take these ideas that are either not popularized or not talked about, or even just ones that exist as the antithesis to the commonly accepted ideas and then go with them, because you might find something useful. Robert Anton Wilson, in a lecture from, 40 something years ago, was talking about how he thought that the life extension science and that field of longevity and life extension were very interesting because there was creating different ways of thinking, especially at a time when every spiritual practice you could think about was about preparing the human being to die. What is Buddhism, Christianity, what do all of these religions, or Gnosticism, what are they preparing you to do? They're preparing you for your death. When you die, your soul has to be like this for the good thing to happen. But instead, what happens if you have to force people to live and say you need to be prepared to live and live longer than you ever imagined? You get different types of thinking.
Right. I agree completely. And that's the goal, I think, with what we're trying to point out here too, is that so many of these ideas are prevalent in the occult and go unquestioned either from long historical tradition or just a sort of natural antagonism to the what was the term we used in the DKMU episode last time? Consensus reality.
Yeah. Yep.
So many of these ideas just exist and get picked up by occultism more so than anybody because they're all about these sorts of alternative views. But then we fall into our patterns of taking those ideas and accepting them. And that becomes our new established reality. And it didn't come from any sort of experimentation. It didn't come from any sort of skepticism or philosophical inquiry by God.
It came from reading that goddamn Crowley book again.
Yeah, it came from someone on TikTok telling you that, do you know about this obscure book that I read? And it tells you that everything is mind. Ain't that a wild, crazy new idea? Ooh.
And there's tons of examples that are bigger and smaller in whatever direction, like astrology, for example. I have recently taken to trying to break myself out of any and all astrological associations when I'm trying to prepare or think about stuff, because I really didn't like astrology. Then I got really heavy into it because I needed to understand it. And I did some actual astrology magic and it worked pretty well. But I got too conditioned to think in those terms of like, well, where's Mars at? What season are we in?
It's Tuesday. That's Mars Day. Time to fight my boss.
That was the example I used too. It's like I got really tired of it being Tuesday and my brain going, we're supposed to fight. and I'm being super hyperbolic here, but I think that is part of what happens, is that especially when you become very conditioned in these types of patterns, you don't think as much, and then you stop thinking altogether, and your brain takes what could be a useful idea, what isn't necessarily a bad idea, but it makes so many shortcuts that it now becomes a bad idea.
Right, yeah. We're talking against developing magic heuristics, essentially. Stop trying to come up with fancy shortcuts because you read a lot of books that told you different things, and just because everyone else is doing it.
Yeah, and maybe it's a little Gurdjieff. It's like, just wake up. You can't be alive and open to experience if you are finding new and exciting ways to sleepwalk.
Mhm.
So, to our dear listeners, I have one challenge to you, one little antithesis to throw out at you, because it's a very common idea. Personally, I'm struggling with the opposite end of it right now. And maybe you can struggle with it too, and maybe we can all learn something by wrestling with the angel. Suffering, right? Very often, Buddhism in particular, the nature of suffering, the nature of existence is suffering. Or to a greater and lesser extent, Hinduism or even Christianity, a lot of these religions, any spiritual path in general can talk about the notion of like freeing yourself from suffering. And even ones that don't explicitly say we're going to free you from suffering, they talk about the idea of communing with the divine. And it's the idea that you're somehow going to pull yourself up above the muck and the mire of everything. And you're going to have bliss and ecstasy. And here's my question. Why is that a good thing? Why is getting away from suffering a good thing? If you woke up today and somebody said, hey, if you do this thing, you will have a life completely free of suffering and pain, would you do it? Could you imagine what your life would be like without that sort of thing? Without adversity, without a challenge?
We're going to go into bad places with that one.
You think so?
I'm holding my tongue on the nihilism of it. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to turn into the guy who's just sitting here telling everyone that their suffering is what makes their existence worthwhile, and without it.
So
that was a legitimately upsetting thought that you gave me.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, I mean, legitimately, the idea of, I don't know, I guess my mental image of it was like, some scientist shows up with a pill and says, I've created a pill that destroys the part of your brain that makes you recoil and feel pain and shirk things that are unpleasant to you and stuff. So you'll just, it just, it gives me the fucking jeebies.
But if Siddhartha comes down and says, hey, I know how to free you from suffering, you just have to, never fuck, don't do anything naughty, and sit on the floor a whole lot and meditate, everybody's like, oh man, this is fucking genius.
Yeah, and then
he just
the other
didn't have a pill to give you.
Right, and then the other side of it is like, I'm standing here with Jesus telling you that, like, no, all the terrible things that happen to you are important. Trust me, bro. I promise you, when you die, it's gonna be you'll be like, man, this is all worth it.
Oh, you see, and that
or
goes
worse,
in another.
I'm standing over here with Jordan Peterson telling you that shit.
Well, on another end, like, because the Christians and stuff will tell you, like, well, if you just do the right thing in the face of all of this suffering, when you die, you won't have to suffer anymore at all.
Right, and that's the point, I suppose. Really, that's what makes Christianity shitty in this argument.
But I suppose that the problem is that what we're getting towards is the Luciferian end of it, aren't we? The idea that the adversity is the thing that makes you go.
I told you we were going to get into bad places with this, and we already had an opening discussion. We can't have another one, so we're going to cut it.
All right, here's the last one of where we're going to a really bad place. Carlos Castaneda. The normal man regards everything as a blessing or a curse. The warrior regards everything as a challenge. Cut all of this.
No.
They motherfuckers just brought up Don Juan, man.
You know what? We actually, we fucked up because we didn't talk about the most important one. And we gave it so much shit, but at least in a certain sense, I can say that, hey, they're trying something kind of different.
Scientology?
No, our old friends at the Society of the Disciples of the Dragon.
Oh, that's right. Oh, yeah. Okay. You see, we told ourselves actually that we were going to become based and dragon-pilled before the next episode came out.
Yep.
I don't think we've gotten there, but I have been striving in my day-to-day life to be completely dragon-pilled, as in I have stopped using my brain entirely.
Has anyone noticed?
No. And the tears start falling. But I have operated exclusively on instinct. I have wandered around in a desert. I've been eating bugs.
I've been
drinking
talking to the voices in my head, and they've been getting me to do all sorts of things that I absolutely hate.
Yeah, they keep saying things that I don't understand. I think the dragon is talking to me exclusively in Portuguese, but I can't use my brain to translate the
learn another
Portuguese.
language.
Yeah. So once again, listeners, forget all that other stuff we said about challenging ideas. What we really need you to do is get dragon-pilled with us and stop thinking. Listeners, your brain is a fuck.
Do a dragon about it.
12,000 dead cells. Bomb your frontal lobes. Dragon-pilled.
Since I'm not thinking anymore, I'm just going to wander aimlessly into the next segment.
Well, is that when we're going to ask ourselves, what's in the news?
What is in the news indeed?
Is it a dragon?
No.
Is it a pill?
It's neither.
I need a look. I know we normally do our parrot with the earpiece headline of something silly that really isn't all that important. But I think going forward, when we do this segment, we need to have the dragon-pilled headline. Give me a headline that means I don't have to think.
You know what? I can do that for you.
Arguably, that's what a headline is for.
Since you want the stupid headline first, dogs living in Chernobyl have adapted with DNA mutation, studies suggest.
That's not a stupid headline. That's fucking lit.
It's from Vice, so it's really stupid.
Damn it. How about the headline of Vice got no money because they keep spending it all on. God damn it. We should maybe we should have a business model that doesn't involve spending thousands following drug dealers around and filming them.
Maybe we shouldn't give Action Bronson free reign to do whatever he wants.
No, that is a sound business decision. That's making them a lot of money. So we got mutant dogs in Chernobyl.
Yeah, it looks like it.
And these fuckers tried to tell us that radiation wasn't going to give us superpowers.
They have increased DNA repair and immune response.
Yeah, so a Wolverine healing factor is what I'm hearing.
We literally have Wolverine dogs running through Chernobyl right now.
That's great. That means when nuclear war inevitably happens, we're actually going to have super mutants.
No, we're going to end up with furries.
Same thing. God, I wasn't prepared for that. It is actually always interesting how, in the strangest ways, life finds a way. No, for real. And it's fascinating that the great god Pan will not be stopped by something as
trivial as a nuclear explosion.
as nuclear devastation. Yeah.
Well, in nature not surviving very well, a terrifying fungal disease is infecting frogs in Africa.
Not the frogs.
Poor frogs.
No, I like frogs. Like everybody, if you haven't gotten the idea that I love frogs from listening to me, you are. But I also like fungus, so I'm torn. Stop Sophie-ing my choice. Epidemics like this happen. I'm sure the frogs will bounce back in whatever way they can manage. This fungus is always a fascinating type of existence. Like we always touch on the ideas of like animal types of consciousness, but very rarely do we talk about like vegetative types of consciousness, and we almost never talk about like fungoid type of consciousness.
Well, there's a certain subset of people that are really big on some fungal consciousness, but usually can't talk to them for the first couple hours.
You make my tummy sick.
Okay, here's one more like not a whole lot headline, just because we talked about the badass dogs, the poor frogs, and now we'll go back to nuclear. A nuclear power plant that leaked 400,000 gallons of radioactive water shuts down for repairs after second incident.
Wow. Those fish are going to be fucking massive.
They're going to be ripped, dude.
Yeah, I'm going to have tuna for days now. That's so good. All right. Yeah, I'm sure there will be no consequences to dumping large amounts of nuclear waste into the ocean. And I'm sure that no one is going to learn anything from this incident either.
Yeah. When the
They're gonna
dogs
be like-
grow gills, they'll be well fed though.
Of just thinking of like the somewhat wolf-like appearance of a whale's ancestors.
Oh yeah.
It's gonna be like kind of like that. We're gonna have these beefy mutant whales that are just like, it doesn't matter. It's not important.
Do we want to talk about the big elephant in the room? The big orange elephant?
Was it at Chernobyl? The elephant foot? That kills people.
A certain somebody said they were going to get arrested Tuesday.
A lot of people said they were going to get arrested. So everybody was like, man, it's like we're going to arrest him. I'm going to get arrested. I can't believe they're going to arrest him. And then nothing happens. It's almost like they just want to make you pay attention to crazy nonsense.
Yeah, it's like fucking
Does anyone
wild.
Tell me, does anyone believe that Donald Trump is actually going to be arrested for anything? If you do, please contact us. I have I have a bridge on an oceanfront property, and it's also a multi-level marketing opportunity. And like whatever else, I don't know. I'm gonna cure your boils. Fuck, it doesn't matter what I say. If you believe that you're
fucking gonna do it.
You've already cleared out your bank account to hand me your hard-earned cash. It's because I just said all of these. I said so many buzzwords that your tiny brain can't even handle it. And this is what we're talking about, that if you were dragon-pilled and you didn't think at all,
then you'd be buying my NFT right now. but you're fucking cringe. You with your fucking rationality.
No, I feel like if you didn't know, because the problem is that these people barely think, but they still think. If you didn't think, all of my words would roll across the smooth, wrinkleless apertures of your mind.
Yeah, presidents don't get arrested, folks. I'm sorry. I hate to break it to you. Not even the Trumper's going to get arrested.
No one's going to arrest Jimmy Carter for being an old bitch. You are wanted for crimes of being cringe, old man. You're gonna do 25 to life and piss.
Oh God. Yeah.
No one's gonna arrest no one is going to arrest a former president.
They weren't even talking about arresting Nixon before he got pardoned.
Yeah, this is all smoke and mirrors. This is a fucking sham. It's not going to happen. I think at best we could say that this is an attempt to intimidate Trump into not running. And it's just not going to work. If he does get arrested, it'll be fucking insane. Do you guys have any idea how many hats I'm going to have to cut up and eat if he gets arrested?
Yeah, I don't know. It just seems so incredibly unlikely that any of this would matter.
It's not on my bingo card. It's not even it wasn't even a choice. It's not even in the same room. It's not going to happen. And if you think it is, it's because you're deluded. I'm sorry. We're all deluded in certain ways, but you're clearly not paying attention to what's going on. If you think that a former president and you're like, oh, well, he did so many bad things. And it's like, well,
Reagan committed treason.
Yeah, exactly. He committed high treason.
Reagan did things that were actually bad.
I hate to say it like this, but do you guys remember that incident where Trump is at a rally where he talked about I could shoot somebody in the middle of Times Square and no one would care. They'd cheer for me. He's totally right. And you can be like, oh, well, that's abhorrent. Oh, well, that's awful. And it's like, yeah, he's the president. You're just describing what the president does.
Refer back to our Jimmy Carter fucking episode. We made our peace on this one already.
That's all I can say is that it would be funny. It'd be really funny if Donald Trump got arrested, especially for we'd
be eating those hats with a smile on our face, but I'm not expecting it. Shit's never that funny.
Yeah. And also it's over the hush money to a porn star thing again, which if that was going to blow up in his face, it would have happened during the 4 years that he was fucking president. You think they're going to get him now? No, I think this is smoke and mirrors.
And if all of that was not enough to dissuade you, just remember that this is the Dems doing it, and the Dems have never done anything right, ever.
Yeah, even
the only thing they've done right in the last 8 years, 8+ years, was screw over Bernie Sanders.
To use the shooting someone in the middle of Times Square's metaphor again, if that happened, the Democrats would still somehow fail to they would lose the gun. The footage would mysteriously get vanished.
Joe
and then
would walk up and think that he did it and apologize.
Yeah. And then they'd spend 3 months trying to pass a gun law bill that still wouldn't pass.
Yeah. And it'd be the most lackluster gun law ever. It would just be like Donnie has to check his gun to make sure it's not loaded first, and they'd still fuck it up.
While we're on it, do we want to talk about the other hysterical smoke and mirror show that's going on to keep you distracted from other shit that's probably more important and pressing?
Well, depends what it is.
Joey Biden and Hunter taking all that money from the Chinese.
Oh, God. Ugh.
It's the same shit where it's like, I'm not even saying he didn't do it. Like, they've probably been doing it for decades. Nothing is going to come of it. That's the thing. It doesn't matter if he did it. It doesn't matter if they're actively doing it. It doesn't matter that Hunter Biden
could shoot someone in the middle of Times Square and then put it on his laptop, and he still wouldn't go to jail.
Smoking a crack pipe at the same time. You guys just remember that laws are to keep us in line. The shit-kicking rabble-rousers are going to come around and throw you in the paddy wagon if you get out of line because you're just a working stiff.
Yeah.
You know? These
Shut
people
up and do your job, proletariat.
Yeah, exactly. Silence. Silence, horse. Get back to your plow. The fuckers up at the top, the law doesn't apply to them. It never has. It never will.
Right.
The
and
only time
it ever even go like, no, there's some. You can't just act like there's no form of law and order. We're talking about people that are presidents and children of presidents and
long-standing politicians and
the
people
owners
with
of industry,
people with absurd amounts of wealth. All these things, these people face no consequences because they're in the handshake club.
Yeah,
you know?
this is it. It's always been like this.
These people don't go to the grocery store and buy a loaf of bread. They don't go to the DMV.
The only thing that's maybe different now is that our institutions have reached a point that we can't even fucking hide it anymore. They either can't be arsed to hide it or they're too incompetent to hide it. That's maybe the only difference at this point.
Yeah, now they're just flaunting it in your face because we don't, most people...
Or they're fucking stupid. They're either just being like, who fucking cares at this point? I'll do whatever I want and you'll fucking accept it. Or they're like, I'm sorry. The bag full of Chinese money. I mean, my big bag of money fell out again. I thought it was my classified documents. I mean...
What I'm hearing is that Joe Biden manufactured the COVID vaccine from a bat soup because the Chinese paid him, and it's all part of the Bill Gates vaccine conspiracy. And Donald Trump is going to save us by shooting a man in Times Square. And
that about sums it up.
And nothing is going to happen to either one of these men. They are going to die comfortably in their beds, surrounded by their family, with
high
loads
on crack.
of high on crack, with loads of idiots ready to suck their dick and say how great they were for the country on both ends of the spectrum.
And our third favorite presidential punching bag, well, not quite yet, and probably not at all, honestly. Ron DeSantis was totally being a cuck about a nickname that Trump gave him. It was pretty fucking funny.
Cuck DeSantis? Is that
it? I love, Trump must have got someone to help him with this one. He's calling him de-sanctimonious now or something.
That motherfucker can't even spell sanctimonious. Are you kidding?
Yeah, right. He got asked by Piers Morgan if he liked Ron DeSanctimonious or Meatball Ron better. And he was just like, I mean, they're fine, whatever. Because he can't.
Meatball Ron.
Dude, Ron DeSantis is such a fucking bitch, man. He is totally bitch made. He could get the ice cream cone slapped out of his hand by Trump, and he'd say, "Thank you, sir."
It's
he knows
very
he knows where his fucking bread is buttered. He's like just he's so pathetic.
It's very Ted Cruz 2.0, right?
Oh yeah,
Where it's
he's
like,
doing the exact same shit.
I'll say shit about your mama, your wife, and say that your goatee makes you look like you came from the Star Trek mirror world. And he's just going to be like, "Thank you, sir. Well, I respect our president. Now, let me go find a woman or a minority that I can talk down to so I can reassert my masculinity. Because I'm afraid of Big Daddy Trump."
Yeah, you're
a bunch of fucking pussies.
It's so bad. Like, I don't get it.
But they
like,
can't. That's the... If you're not a fan of the Republicans, Trump is really a silver lining, because basically anybody that won't fall in line and kiss that man's ass is in trouble.
Yeah, you'll end up getting pushed down the stairs like Mitch McConnell.
Yeah, that's what happened too. Marjorie Taylor Greene did it to him she was a Trump sleeper agent that her programming kicked in, and she just stuck her heels out.
Oh God, we're not even gonna talk about Mitch. Fuck him.
Fall down again, you old bitch. Fuck you.
Did someone
I hope
Mitch.
I hope Mitch and Joe have a falling down the stairs competition. And at the bottom of the stairs is just the nuclear launch button. Do we want to have a magical implication of politicians falling face first down the stairs? I almost said chucking, which that's a violent act that I would not encourage. I'm not encouraging anybody to actually go out and like throw old men down the stairs for legal purposes. I'm saying no one should do that. But if they happen to fall on their own,
yeah. We gave a bunch of political talk, so I guess the only thing we can go back to as far as any sort of feigning occult perspective here is just how easily manipulated people are, because they have preconceived notions about how the world works.
Yeah, and it can create a tribalist worldview. It can make you fall for this idea that there are certain people in power that are on your side, when historically that just isn't so. And even the fact that we're drawing attention to these things, saying, "Oh, this is all nonsense, smoke and mirrors," is arguably giving lip service to the problem, saying, "Hey, this is nonsense. You're still drawing attention to the nonsense." But at the same time, we're the funny Yuck Yuck podcast. We just talked about, Jimmy Carter going to prison for not being dragon-pilled.
Well, I think there is a power to satire still.
I don't know if this is satire. This is satire. Seems like it needs to have like some biting commentary or some real insight. I just think it would be very funny if somebody were to place banana peels on every step surrounding the Capitol and just let nature run its course.
Or let Joe run really fast going, "Look at that banana, I'm a monkey."
Joe Biden
and
doing
take
the
Mitch
Naruto
with him again.
Joe Biden Naruto running full speed to get a banana.
Oh God. Okay.
Beep 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 beep. CNN breaking news.
Howdy, hey, it's Friday. We recorded this several days ago, and now we have to record this addendum because you all know what happened yesterday.
I believe I said something about cutting my hat in 3 pieces and eating it with hot sauce.
Well, okay. In our defense, he's been indicted. We don't know if anything's going to come of it.
I was having this conversation last night when I got the news. The problem is that every step of the way, I've been wrong. Where I didn't think the man was going to get elected. I didn't think the man was going to get elected. Once he got elected, it's like, well, he's not. Well, actually, the one thing I was right about was that when the impeachment happened, it was like, ain't no way he's going to get impeached. So I was right about that. But now I was going, oh, there's no way he's going to get indicted. And now he's been indicted. So what? Am I just going to go like, oh, well, there's no way he's going to get arrested. So for me to get to watch the first president ever be arrested?
Well, okay, I will totally be wrong.
Oh, well,
I will say it right
he's
now.
not going to get charged.
He's not going to get tackled by 17 police and tased.
It's not like he's going to make a huge scene trying to fight him and they're going to have to drag him away in restraints.
It's not like he's going to shit his pants as he gets hit with a moose tranquilizer so they can take him to a high security facility.
It's not like they're going to grab him and say, take him to the McConnell stairs. Donald J. Trump, we sentence you to the Biden McConnell Stair Emporium, where you will be incarcerated.
Oh, man.
Well, no, but for real, I did not see this coming. I thought, ain't no fucking way.
I definitely thought he was going to get indicted, but I didn't think he was going to get led away in handcuffs or anything, and that hasn't happened yet. And I don't think anything's going to come of it. I think this is going to like just get into I don't even know what the legal proceedings that are going to follow from this are, but I just don't see this resulting in anything major. Maybe he'll get like fined to shit. You know, that's nothing. It still sets a horrifying precedent for future presidents, and they're going to be fucked by this. It will lead to the eventual arrest of every president the minute they get out of office, or mass pardonings for the self every time they get out of office.
The problem is that he didn't get indicted for anything he did as part of his office, as far as my understanding. These are things that happened during his run, right?
From what I remember, yes.
Yeah, so like that was the other thing that I was talking to my beloved about it, where it's none of the things. This is a very Al Capone situation where it's like, all right, we can't get you on anything that you did while you were president or after you were president. So we're just gonna try to get you on literally anything, so that way we can keep you from running again. Because that's what this is. They don't.
Yeah, but there's nothing that says
Trump
that if
to run again.
There's nothing that says if he gets arrested, he can't run again.
I think there's a rule about convictions.
Eugene Debs ran for president from prison for years.
Oh yeah, I think you're probably right.
We might end up with the first president presiding from his prison cell, but there's nothing that says he can't run if he gets arrested. And an interesting little thing from Politico that just went up a little bit ago. The data's clear. The indictment makes Republicans like Trump more, which is of course they fucking did.
Every time you struggle and try to do something against him, it only emboldens his base, because now he's a martyr to the cause.
Man, that's great. You can be a martyr without anything actually fucking happening to you. Man, sign me up.
I mean, that's been the whole spiel this whole time.
Yeah.
At the same time, it's very much, this feels like some Darby Dragons thing where it's like we're in uncharted waters at this point, where it's like the first former president in history being charged with anything. Like, I don't think they'd get Mr. Carter on jaywalking.
No, they wouldn't. They wouldn't get him on like hitting an orphan either. Like, he could just do anything.
Obama doesn't get speeding tickets, you know? It's like nothing.
Grant supposedly got a speeding ticket for driving his carriage too fast.
Well, he was probably drunk too, so that was probably the lesser of the two charges.
I can't remember who the hell I'm stealing this joke from. Maybe Chapo or something, but it was like, if they had a breathalyzer back then, he would have been the first one with a DUI.
That's why they make people drive the president now.
Prosecutors in New York are preparing for Donald Trump's surrender to court officials after he became the first U.S. president to be charged with a crime. Again, not exactly true. Trump's lawyer says the former president will not be handcuffed for his court appearance next Tuesday. Joe Tacopina says Trump will plead not guilty to the charges, and they will aggressively challenge the legal viability of the case. Oh, God. Okay, and just so everyone knows, like, the real issue with this is that the payment was legal, but Trump allegedly recorded it as a business expense. Falsifying business records is illegal in New York. So there you go, guys. Like, that's what's actually happening here. This is just another fucking case of bullshit white collar crime that's not going to even do anything. Like, I mean, of course he's the president, but even if Donald Trump was not the president and he just got charged with this out of nowhere, the same thing is going to happen, other than the fact that people are going to be like, oh my God, he's the president.
It's like I said, it's some Al Capone stuff. I mean, I do not like Donald Trump. You know, that's not a controversial statement. You really shouldn't be surprised. When it comes to this, it's very much like, it's not who cares, because I guess on the baseline, it's like, yeah, that's fucked up. It's against the law, whatever.
What, cheating on your
it's
taxes?
Yeah, it's an Al Capone thing, man, where it's like they're just trying to get him with literally anything because nothing has been able to stick this guy. Regardless of your opinions on whether or not he was guilty, nothing has stuck to him thus far.
Well, and the other thing, though, is like, what's it fucking matter? If anything, this is doing them a disservice because it's making him more popular with Republicans, making him more likely to run again. And don't get it twisted, people.
Well, he's running again. Don't get it twisted. He's running again.
Well, I mean, don't get it twisted. He's still very likely to win the next election at this point.
Absolutely. And this is only going to make it worse.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm getting at. It's like, what are these people fucking doing? Because you know this was not just some prosecutor thinking that he's doing the right thing or some shit. This was probably a coordinated political effort on someone's part. And whoever's fucking part it was is a fucking idiot, unless their idea was, oh, hey, let's get Trump reelected.
I personally think the Democrat opposition to Donald Trump are a bunch of paste-eating school children because they're just incredibly bad at this, unless you consider the possibility that what the Democrats want is to be losing. Like, they want to be losers because they can sit around and point and say, look how bad the Republicans are, donate money to us.
Or better yet, hey, we want to support basically all the same things the Republicans are doing anyway, but our base is built on the illusion of progressivism, so we have to just sit here and continually stymie our own efforts and make it look like we're such idiots that we can't accomplish anything, because if we have no real interest in pursuing any of these progressive actions. In fact, I will go ahead and say it now that the idea of progressivism of the Democratic Party is not that the Democratic Party actively pushes any of it. It's that they just latch on to any social progressive issue that they can see. It's entirely a fucking act.
Oh yeah, I mean they'll do anything to try to get voters, but that's why we always talk about what the only thing that the Democrats ever really offer is that they're not Republicans, you know?
Yeah, that's their whole point.
I'm not going to get conspiratorial and say, oh, this is for the purposes of emboldening Trump so that he'll win. And then because the Democrats know that whoever they throw up against him is going to, if Biden runs again, it's going to be bad. I think I remember a poll where it's like 60% of Democratic voters say that Joe Biden shouldn't run again. And when they ask who should run in his place, the same, 60% are like, I don't know.
Like anybody?
Like literally
anybody?
Well, like literally anybody except for all of the options that we have, because it's like, I really don't want Warren or Harris or
Buttigieg or Kamala
or Buttigieg, yeah,
or
yeah,
fucking I don't know what's that
or Sanders.
Well, I mean, I want. No, you know what? I'll lay it on the
table. Because you're a dirtbag. You're the dirtbag left.
I'm not even.
Shut up, Bernie, bro.
I have no desire to see President Bernie Sanders at this point. It's too little, too late.
He's too old to pee in his own pants.
It will destroy my illusions about the alternative world we had where Bernie Sanders managed to actually win. So let's just let them sleep and dogs lie, because I'm fairly certain if Bernie became president, I would immediately be disappointed.
I just think ultimately, if there is some sort of ulterior motive of and that's the thing, we could be wrong, because I was under the impression that somehow this was supposed to be used as leverage against Trump for the purposes of keeping him from running for president. But if that's just dead wrong, then all this is doing is you're just giving him more, you're making him cooler. Stop making him seem cooler to the Republicans. it's ultimately, I really do circle back to that thing of like, all of the shitty things that I think he did are not what he's on trial for.
Right.
And in fact, most of the shitty things he did were perfectly legal.
Just to be completely honest, I don't care that he paid off anybody for sex, whatever. That's their prerogative. All the horrible things Trump did are just things that happen. Trump was just dumber about it. Trump, you know what the ultimate thing about Donald Trump is Donald Trump said the quiet part out loud.
I mean, I think that's what people said through most of his presidency. It's like he did the same bullshit that presidents do all the time. He just said it very loudly and then and doubled down when people called him. And this is just an example, right? Like, this is a hypothetical. It's like if Obama drone striked a U.S. civilian, right?
Yeah.
He would either hush up about it completely. He would act as if this was some sort of accident. He would perhaps, do something to try to mitigate blame and to try to show that either he wasn't directly responsible or he just wouldn't talk about it at all. But the Donald Trump response to drone striking a civilian would basically be, I did it. I would do it again.
It's your patriotic duty as an American
He
citizen
was
to be
he was a
Trump-stock.
motherfucker. He would be like, he was an asshole and he deserved it, And that's the difference. If we're talking about in the tangible actions of what they did, it's the same thing. And I'm not trying to mitigate this on they're both just as equally bad presidents or this, that, and the other thing, that sort of thing. I don't want to level it and be like, because I know on the last couple episodes I said they're all demons. You can't trust any of them. And that sounds very, I'm not going to try to pretend that they're all exactly the same and they're all the exact same type of awful. But by and large, a lot of the horrible actions that presidents do are things that all presidents are guilty of to some greater or lesser extent. People just really didn't like Donald Trump because he was an incredibly polarizing and abrasive figure who was very loud about the awful stuff that he was doing.
Well, there's your addendum, folks. We're not going to eat our hats yet. If we see him in handcuffs or wearing the fucking orange jumpsuit, we will live stream ourselves eating all of our hats.
I have far too many hats for that, all right? But
do it for the listeners. Do it for the listeners.
All right. Listeners, hop on our Discord and tell us what kind of hot sauce we should use when we eat the hats.
Okay, back to the regular episode.
Beep, 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 beep.
Back to some headlines that might have something interesting to them. Hong Kong department store removes artwork with hidden political content.
Wait. Art has political content? Holy fuck. Inform the media. No more art. You're going to have to give me a detail here.
Patrick Amadon is an artist who created a work that contained hidden references to jailed free speech defenders in Hong Kong. And it was taken down by a department store in an incident the artist says is evidence of the erosion of free speech by Chinese authorities. Patrick Amadon's No Rioters was put on display on a billboard at a huge Sogo Causeway Bay store as the city was promoting itself as a cultural hub following years of pandemic travel restriction. Art Basel Hong Kong, a prominent art fair in Asia, began this week alongside other art events. It was unclear whether the government played a role in the decision to remove the artwork. Are you fucking kidding me?
The notion that mainstream art is a source of meaningful political action is laughable.
I don't know. It's like that Ukraine article from 7 episodes ago at this point.
It's just, we can already talk about that, but I just think the idea that an art exhibition from a department store trying to promote the cultural hub because everybody's been cooped up from the COVID restrictions, that's not where you're getting your hard-hitting political messages. That's like going to fucking Black Panther. You shouldn't be surprised because these fuckers are about making money. If the glorious People's Republic of China says, hey, you can't say that, you can't do that. Yeah, it's erosion of free speech, but what did you expect? As you said earlier, you know, these fuckers know where their bread is buttered.
Amadon said the gallery told him in an urgent call that it was very concerned about its legal exposure after a conversation with Sogo. There you go. It's just people protecting their own interest. So, but to answer the question of whether or not the government was involved, it's like, it doesn't really matter if the government was directly involved and told them to take it down, because obviously they were threatened by the idea that the government was going to do anything. So,
Yeah.
the idea I want to talk about here more than anything, because I think it's probably the most interesting one, is the idea of hidden messages in art, because this is one artist doing a political work, obviously, but there's a whole occult trope conspiracy theory about all the hidden messages in art. And this one was very on its nose, obviously, because it's like matrix text with weird flashes that you can't even see with the human eye, but you can see them if you like take photos of it and stuff.
Oh.
How common do you think stuff like that might actually be? The other thing, I guess, would go back, because we talked about Black Panther before, right?
Yeah, and how Killmonger is right.
Right, yeah, obviously, I don't think that subliminal messaging is really much of a thing. Like, I mean, it is on a certain point, but it's not like, oh, you just put flashes of, it's not they live, you don't have the hidden fucking thing under there saying, this is your God.
Well, going back to what we were talking about of when you accept an idea and you don't unpack it and you accept a lot of the assumptions with it. I don't know for a fact if hiding the subliminal messages and things work. But on one hand, if you're a psych model, unconscious, subconscious person, that's how sigils work.
Right.
Things that slip past your conscious mind into your unconscious mind.
Mm-hmm.
Although I think scientifically they showed that, like, if you can't perceive what you were reading in the subliminal message because it was only there for 2 frames, it's not going to have an effect because it's not going to register. I think they did experiments on that. I might be wrong. Also, that might just be what they want you to think.
Well, the other side of it goes into just, the Black Panther thing, which is why I was trying to bring it up, was the hidden narrative elements of art, which I think that's really common. Like, I watched Wednesday with my lovely fiance, and that was the thing that was getting me more than anything, is looking at this tale as I get what you're trying to do. There's some questionable things in Wednesday,
like
some pretty anti-working class messages in a way.
Oh, because like the whole town is like, yeah, I see that.
Well, I mean, I don't want to be that person, but the heroes of that story are all bourgeois.
Yeah.
They're like almost aristocrats. And the one person that you think is going to be a good guy turns out to be the ultimate bad guy.
Yeah,
and there's kind of a
that's
weird
true.
message there that like even the working class person that thinks that that has the good bourgeois morals that you're supposed to have might actually be a fucking monster.
Well, I believe that they were trying to use the freaks as a metaphor for, what it always is, for an oppressed minority, a la X-Men. What it actually comes across as is essentially, like you said, it's very bourgeois, and it's almost this notion of like, these people hate us because we've all got superpowers.
Yeah, they hate us
Which is
because we're better than them.
Yeah, which is part of the problem of X-Men. But, X-Men is a lot more explicit with its, well, I don't know. It's kind of,
It depends who's
or.
writing it, I guess, really.
Yeah.
Because there's some
at
bad
least-
X-Men that doesn't make any fucking sense.
You're about to start talking about my man Beak, and I won't hear it. I won't hear it. Yeah, I see what you're saying there. You could talk about Harry Potter. We won't talk about Harry Potter, but that's another example of a lot of the weird implications of those stories that if you were to run with them to their logical conclusions, actually kind of can say some messed up things.
Yeah.
That goes back to the notions of the stories that we tell ourselves are very important. But that's not subliminal messaging. That's subtext and subtlety and nuance in a story. Where does that become more explicit programming? Because then you could talk about the ideas of cultural Marxism which I think is nonsense, personally. But that's the idea, is that these are subtle methods of shifting focus and ideas and making, you normalizing things that some people think shouldn't be normalized, stuff like that. It never really crosses the boundary into, oh, there was a hidden message in this. Like the most effective form of that would arguably be like that sort of mystery box ARG type things where it's like by making it obvious but not too obvious that there's something hidden in this work, you get people to dig into it and find it, which might be what happened here. When you become aware that there's like something that's flashing for like a split second, naturally you're going to try to frame by frame it or get your camera out or something, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, sorry, I just didn't have much more to say. I thought you.
This is the part where you will hear the buffeting of slight subliminal messages underneath the main track, telling you to go to chaosmagicnews.com, where we'll have articles, interviews, links to the pod, and much, much more. Give us your money.
I think you're so much nicer because I was going to say this is where we ask for the numbers on your credit card and the 3 numbers on the back.
Well,
Please send them to.
You got to get them. You got to get them in the door first, you know. That's what I learned from the cultural Marxists is that you can't start by saying give me your credit card. You have to start with something simple.
That's funny how we've talked about Marx twice without actually really trying to talk about Marx. That's funny.
That's why I'm Karl Markiplier this week.
Oh, you've never changed your name mid-episode. I love it. You want one more?
Yeah, I'll always do one more.
Do you want Emmanuel Macron takes off his watch during pension TV interview? Or
smashes it with a hammer.
Or do you want sections of park on site proposed for Atlanta's Cop City Training Center are closed after life-threatening hidden traps found?
Good God.
Let's go with that one.
Ugh.
Sections of a park on site of proposed Atlanta's Cop City Training Center are closed after life-threatening hidden traps found. So there we go. We went from hidden messages to hidden traps.
Like a bear trap? Like what? Like they rig a shotgun to blow when you walked by. You got a box with a twig holding up the box, and you got a piece of cheese. So when they pull the piece of cheese, it hits the stick and the box drops on them. What's going on here?
It's literally like a 2x4 with a shit ton of nails not put into it.
Oh, God, that's brutal.
And they were they were hidden in leaves and stuff.
Yeah, okay, for background for anybody that doesn't know, basically there's this police training facility where they cleared out some forested areas. People got very upset about it. There were protests. A man was unduly murdered by the police, and I don't care how you try to paint a face on it. They killed this guy when he wasn't doing anything that would warrant such an action. So I guess things are very, very much heating up. I guess arguably if they need the training center and this is available land, that's a whole different environmental sort of argument. But I imagine things are heating up because they killed one of the protesters. And that's generally, I just don't think it's a great idea to kill people that are protesting things, especially when it's like, hey, maybe don't tear down all this forested land.
Yeah, especially if the people that they're protesting happen to already be the fucking police who kind of have a weird history of killing protesters, oddly enough.
Yeah, it's weird.
Have you heard of this? That's kind of, that's different. You know, that's weird, right? It's a little ironic.
So, it sort of makes me think that, like, man, is this what they're training you to do? Is this what this facility is going to be? Either way, it's very sad because it's like, regardless of your feelings about the police, regardless of your feelings about protesters, I think generally people don't want situations like this to escalate into weird shit where more and more people are getting hurt and more people are getting killed. You know, in a perfect world, we wouldn't have to go around murdering each other.
We definitely don't want it to escalate to fucking Rue Goldberg fucking death traps.
Yeah, especially like because it's in areas where people that aren't even fucking involved.
Yeah, some kid could
hurt.
get killed by that shit.
Yeah, imagine that. That'd be fucking horrific.
Well,
you know? It's just like it's.
But here's the other side of it. Under the executive order, unauthorized persons entering the properties will be subject to prosecution for criminal trespass, and unauthorized parked vehicles will be towed and impounded, according to a news release about the executive order. So, was this a fucking op? Was this just to get the protesters and everyone away from there?
Yeah. You know, that could totally be what's going on. At the same time, I feel like if they wanted to justify that, they wouldn't need to put out weird traps. I feel like they could just probably do it. But that's another good point. Is that
I
with
don't
stuff
know.
like this,
Throwing boards with nails into them under like fucking underbrush and shit. That seems like some pretty like lazy fucking like, hey, let's make it look like they're trying to do stupid shit kind of thing, you know?
I got an idea. We know the protests are going to happen, right? We'll just leave out a bunch of bricks. Like it has that kind of vibe to me too. I agree.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
I don't know. I don't want to. I feel like it's an op thing can become like this is what we're talking about as far as not necessarily a bad idea, but then it can become the shortcut so that you don't have to think. To just assume that the police, hey, I'm not a big fan of police, especially when they're killing people that don't deserve it. But I don't want to just say, oh, nah, they put those traps there so that they could get rid of the people. Because again, it could just be a byproduct of rising tensions, and this is somebody's fucking crazy ass idea to cause more problems and make the situation worse and hurt more people.
Yeah, I mean,
and that's not good.
Yeah, you're completely right about there's a reason it's a joke, I guess, where we just say like, oh, it's a fucking op to everything. But there's always the subset of people who are going to believe that sort of shit, where no matter what happens, it's a fucking vast conspiracy to make something happen. But if nothing else, this one would make a little more sense than some others.
Oh, no, there's
having protesters and police clashing in this area. And then, well, we got to get rid of them somehow. Well, let's come up with an excuse to get rid of them. That doesn't involve like faking a fucking massive like injury or like framing somebody, I guess, right?
Totally believable motivation. It doesn't seem out of the realm of possibility at all. I'm glad that these traps, if they were legitimately placed to hurt somebody, I'm glad that they were so boneheaded that they were easily found and nobody got flung with a bunch of fucking nails into their body or anything. Like I said, you don't want people getting hurt over something like that. The only people that I really want to see get hurt are Mitch McConnell and Joe Biden falling down the stairs.
Oh man, if
towards the gold medal.
Can we hide boards with nails in it in the Capitol building?
God, no.
Hide it under a banana. Joe will just go running for it. Oh, that's getting cut out. Fuck.
For legal purposes, these are jokes. No one would take any of what we're saying seriously.
No, I mean.
But, it's like, it's just silly nonsense. I get it. But there is always that part in the back of your brain that thinks like, man, you make too many jokes about political figures getting hurt. They might start, you might start getting
those calls.
Some people. Yeah, I might start getting them calls.
Well, no, see, that's the thing,
maybe you take a flight down some stairs. You know what I'm saying?
That's the problem, though, is like we're sitting here going like, oh man, talking about Joe and Mitch and Meatball Ron over there. What's gonna get us is the fucking Carter thing. Like, oh, that wasn't nearly that controversial. It's just a joke. It's just a fun time. Fucking Jimmy Carter's family is hiring fucking private assassins right now.
Oh my God.
I guess that's enough news for one day.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how dragon-pilled was this last segment?
Well, we insinuated presidents getting hurt. We talked about subliminal messages. I think we could lose a couple brain cells still.
Well, how are we going to do that?
Well, we could read some stupid creepypasta.
That's how I knock off a couple brain cells.
Yeah. So, why are we reading creepypastas is the question.
Because we didn't have an idea for this.
There's an exceeding number of creepypastas that you can find that are ostensibly occult rituals.
The ritual pasta is a notable subgenre of creepypastas where you will find something where it is allegedly describing a ritual that you could possibly perform and attain some sort of supernatural and or magical result. The problem is that they're not written by occultists. They're not written by people who have done the rituals. It's just it's pure fiction, which is fine, or it would be if these were talented writers, but most of them are just god awful.
Yeah, there's one that always sticks out in my mind in particular when I think about that kind of subset of creepypasta.
Which one is it? And I'll tell you if it's in the list of what I've got.
No. let's just go ahead and get into them, and we'll let people be surprised.
I think maybe before we start, I'm not going to just sit here and read off of these things, but I'll sort of, we'll sort of go through and say that this is the gist of the ritual sort of deal. I think the important thing about these is that for most of these rituals, there is no discernible reason why you would even want to do it.
Yeah, like that's the interesting thing about like actual occult stuff, right? We tend to have rituals that actually want to do something that you might want to happen, even if they are like spooky rituals involving demons and shit and like dark forces and stuff. You're at least getting something out of it. Most of these are just like, hey, you want to fuck your whole world up, dude?
Do you want to do something that'll really scare the piss out of you and maybe you'll live? And if you do it wrong, like have eternal torment?
Yeah.
Well, have I got news for you?
Do you want to die tonight?
Some of these rituals are essentially the equivalent of what if you locked yourself in a room with an angry wild animal and just took a chance that it fucking eviscerated you?
Yeah.
With that said, the first one I think is worth talking about is one man hide and seek, or hide and seek alone.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Incredibly popular one. I know at least one YouTuber that actually did a video of them doing this ritual and was like, yeah, nothing happened. This is stupid. I knew nothing was going to happen. At the same time, it was probably kind of creepy, at least. This one is basically where you get a stuffed doll of some kind. You fill it with rice, like human fingernails, and just like, some very minor stuff, basically. Nothing too crazy. You give it a name, you put it in the bathtub or some shit, you turn out all the lights in your house, you go around looking for it, and it's like the doll will be exactly where you left it because it's not alive yet. But then you give it a name and you say, all right, Timothy, you're it now. Now you have to find me. And when you do that, the spirit is going to go into the rice, because spirit is like water, where the rice just sucks it up. If you get a ghost in your phone, you can just put it in rice. If you drop your phone into the toilet, you can just put it in rice. Rice is going to do wonders, is what we're saying. And the point is that you have to like hide from the doll, and like if it fucking finds you, it's like gonna kill you or something. I don't know. It's like, I guess the entire point is that the only thing I can think of is that it's almost this notion of some kind of ordeal, or perhaps like proof of the supernatural by doing something that is dangerous, which is like kind of interesting, I guess, but there's no tangible, you don't get anything out of doing this. What you get is that like you survived, which is essentially makes this a game of supernatural chicken. Are you going to get killed or not? It's like, why would you want to do it?
Yeah, and I suppose there is a long storied history of like supposed creepy things you can do that like you end up doing with your friends while you're drunk, or like if you're a little kid, I guess. Hopefully if you're a little kid, you're not drunk, but it's like Bloody Mary and stuff. It's like,
yeah,
no, you do it. No, you do it. Like, so we something about our human experience likes those sorts of things. But why? What would really possess you to like do that one in particular? You're gonna create an evil killer doll. Like, what about that appeals to anybody? Like, I get it. It's because it's not really for you to do. It's just for you to be creeped out by the idea of it.
The notion of it is scary, and it has just enough of a threshold of I could actually do this, while also feeling like it hits the marks of a witchcrafty type thing, because it's like, get a doll, fill it with rice and fingernails and a red cord, and hit it with the salt water and the cayenne pepper. These things register in our heads as like cliches or tropes of the trade, I suppose.
Yeah, it's got the occult aesthetic to it.
But there's no, that's the thing, is that there are a lot of occultists who do magic that doesn't get anything done, but they at least pretend that it's to get something done. You know what I mean?
Well, I was actually about to say there's plenty of people that have occult practices that don't involve those sorts of things. And I think this ritual in particular could really benefit from some like just barbarous fucking names or like maybe like a weird symbol that you draw on the doll. I'd feel a little more like, yeah, this is some spooky stuff if you at least did that.
Maybe it's not barbarous, but you do give it a name. You could name it Barbara. That's my favorite barbarous name.
What's the next one?
Okay, and the next one was almost the one that I went with first because this is once again an example of a ritual of like, why the fuck would you want to do this? It's called the scorpion ritual. It's called the scorpion ritual because, well, you'll need a scorpion.
Real
This one,
creative names. Like
yeah.
you have like the fumigation to Asclepius. You have the Bornless ritual, and then you got the Scorpion ritual.
This is actually very notable because it does accomplish something that is just the holy grail for some magicians. It is literally the resurrection of the dead. Now, it's the resurrection of the dead as the body is completely dragon-pilled, This is the means by which you will take a dead body and by using a scorpion, some acid, some alcohol, and a spear. I forgot. Yeah, fucking spear.
A spear. Hey, this is feeling pretty occult. Okay.
Yeah. You take a dead body, and it mentions that it has to be like a freshly dead body too. So you can't like even dig up your grandma and just see her doing a jig one more time. It has to be somebody like who recently died. So like now you've also committed murder. So like what the or you found someone. Now you're desecrating your corpse.
Hanging outside the hospice, being like, all right, who's gonna get the scorpion tonight?
Yeah, again, so now you're stealing and desecrating a corpse, which is also a very, very serious crime in most places. You use the scorpion and the alcohol and like you light something on fire. Yeah, I believe you stab them with the spear or some crap like that. When the scorpion stings the corpse, it's going to get up and it's going to be an angry, violent zombie. And the other thing is you have to do this like, it says explicitly you have to go out into like the middle of nowhere to do this. You need to stay away from anything electrical because otherwise it won't work. So it's basically like setting up all of these things of like, this is an incredibly bad idea and this is a great way that if it does work to get killed by a zombie. And it's just, there's no benefit. You can't get the zombie to do anything. Like it could arguably like leave it there, but it mentions like the zombie will chase you as the person that brought it back to life. It wants to kill you so that it can go back to being dead or something to that effect, right? It's mad at you because it's alive again. So you can't get any useful information out of the dead, which is like the point of necromancy. And you can't get like it's not like a minion because it wants to just kill you. So the more fantastical end of necromancy of an undead thrall, this is completely like, man, you want to prove that supernatural occurrences exist? You could go do this, but it's not. And this one is where it makes the barrier to entry so high that you wouldn't be able to go test. If there's a YouTuber who tried this ritual, I've got some fucking questions. and it's just so dumb where it's like, man, at least I got the spear to fight him off with, right?
Yeah. It's both not creepy to me at all and incredibly stupid. Like, can we make this useful in some kind of way? Maybe you like put the body in a cage and then like, so he gets up and he's all crazy trying to kill you, but now you got him in a cage, so you're good. And then you drag it back to town being like, check out, step right up. See the man who wants to kill me. He wants to kill me so bad he came back from the grave. $5.
I feel like there are easier ways to make money. That's all I can say.
Well, if you just so happen to have a body, a scorpion, and a spear, and no other source of income.
Yeah, maybe this is an option for you. I would recommend just selling the spear or possibly the scorpion. I don't know.
What else you got then?
Here's a really old one. This is one I remember reading as like a young wee bab, is the mirror box. This one isn't nearly as bad as the other ones because it doesn't have like a described purpose, but it also isn't particularly fantastical. It's honestly kind of just an interesting idea. because the mirror box, where it describes in detail the construction of a box that is literally made out of mirrors, so you can be Hendrix.
That's a joke for me.
But it describes the process by which and dimensions of this box and the supplies that it recommends you bring. I guess it would be an interesting sort of meditational retreat, almost akin to like a sensory deprivation thing, where it's like you end up in this glass box, and I guess you'd meditate or perhaps just stare. Although it mentions bringing like a simple light source. The problem is that if you put a light bulb in a mirror box, it's going to be probably not very pleasant. You know, it's just going to be blinding. The one strange sort of like almost sinister thing described here is mentioning like you should definitely bring an assistant who has a strong will, so that when your designated amount of time in the box is done, they will get you out of that box, because it describes that apparently some people will just straight up be like, nah, I don't want to come out. It's super great down here. Please, no, let me stay in here. Let me stay in here. Let me stay in here, which is
bad.
just, you know, I guess I mean maybe it would drive you totally bonkers. I don't know. Maybe it wouldn't do anything, but it does in a weird way. It makes me think of that room that is like totally silent, that supposedly no one has stayed in for more than an hour or something like that.
Oh, right. Yeah. Does it give you any idea of what it's supposed to do?
No. Like I said, this one's very mysterious for whatever reason.
Well, it's definitely an improvement, because while it's a strange thing that doesn't seem to have an express purpose, my imagination works at that one and gives it ideas. Like you said, the sensory deprivation kind of aspect of it is very interesting. That could actually be kind of cool.
To me, it's a very interesting concept. I know when I read it, it was like, man, I should make one of those. And honestly, it sounds like the type of experiment that perhaps a chaos magician might come up with.
Yeah, you could definitely come up with some benefit for that, I think. My issue with it, though, is that it's definitely not creepy.
It's more strangely thought-provoking. Besides, like, the bit of sinister thing where it's like, yeah, after the timer has gone off, always remove the top of the box, because witnesses have attested to the occupants of the box refusing to leave and stuff like that.
Yeah, there's a bit of sinister quality there, but
just perhaps what might happen to the human brain in such conditions, but
yeah.
In that same spirit, there's this one called the mirror trick. Boy, oh boy, is it a doozy.
Okay, I'm waiting with bated breath.
First, look into a mirror. Any mirror will do. Stare at yourself for a little bit. Then start telling yourself your name. Repeat the sentence, my name is blank, over and over again. Eventually, you will realize you are the Slim Shady. Eventually, you will start to feel detached. Every time you repeat the sentence, you will feel more like somebody else and less like you. Like the real you is inside the mirror, and that you is not really you. That's not the you that is not you. And I've never gone far enough for anything completely strange to happen, but the sheer fact that it happens is enough. Literally, this is just a meditation, a meditation thing that is described by Spare with like the mirror gazing, which he wasn't the first one to came. He's just always the one I think of. It's mentioned in Liber Null as a method to get to the death posture, and it's been done by a lot of it. It just adds like the mechanic of a mantra, and then it goes like, well, I haven't gone far enough to really say what it's about, and it's like, well, who cares? The idea is like, that's creepy, where it's like the real you is behind the mirror. It's like, I can tell you, it's like what? There's the mirror world behind there. I don't know. I just
motherfucker, you ain't even got to the death posture yet. Keep doing it. You still hung up on the like creepiness of it.
Yeah, you think there's something behind the mirror. It's like, bruh.
There is, but you're a fucking idiot, and you're not going to be able to do anything useful with it.
How to become a god.
Oh, that's got to be great.
I thought I knew this one, and I actually don't. I remember this one having there was this big thing of it was one of those things where it was talking about the idea of like where you believe you're going to go when you die is where you go. And all the gods are sustained by your thoughts, and like the collective belief in them is what makes them powerful. By when you die, you can attempt to become a god and get believers and that sort of thing.
Oh, okay.
And it was just going to give me a chance to talk about, it's like, this is the bullshit we're talking about as far as thought forms and egregores.
Yeah.
But it's not the one. And it's also the other problem with a lot of these ritual pastas is that as we got further and further into like bad creepypasta years, like they were never good, but like as they became popular, more people wrote them, and that just increased the amount of bad ones. A lot of things that are labeled as like, here's a ritual, and it's like, it's not. It's like a narrative that describes somebody doing a ritual, but like, I'm not reading this long, boring story.
Yeah, fuck your short story, bro. I don't care.
Yeah. I need a step one.
Yeah.
How to speak to the dead. That's another good one. You gotta love, I do have a fondness for the ones that say how to, and then it's something batshit crazy. How to punch a hole through a dimension. How to walk on water. How to speak to the dead.
How
and
to
then
eat a
this one
burrito.
is how to eat a burrito. Well, you got to get a little bit of hot sauce. That's a supreme ritual, a crunch wrap supreme ritual. Do you have a dead relative? Have you ever wanted to say goodbye, but it was too late? Well, boy, have I got news for you. If you go to a cemetery at 4 a.m., that's the only time it'll work. Don't ask why. You go to the grave of the dead person and just be really weird about everything and just sort of look around real shifty and make sure no one hears you say this thing in Latin that I put into Google Translate. And that's literally what it is. It's like, there's some Latin right here that, I have a funny feeling this person doesn't speak Latin. Probably just plug some shit into Google Translate. Your dead relative will show up, but it's not actually your dead relative. It's like a fake dead relative who's gonna be like, grandma, what big eyes do you have? And it's like, all the better to eat you with, my dear. Even though I said eyes, because I have teeth in my eyes. I don't think that's that's not part of it, but it would be scarier. But no, it's like you'll have like a fake doppelganger relative who's going to try to get you to say certain things and or give them a hug, and then they're going to like kill you, because that's always what it goes to. It's like the only penalty that is acceptable in any of this is dying. You did the ritual wrong, so you're going to immediately be eviscerated by a phantasm masquerading as your relative. But if you hold strong and you don't fall for their tricks and you answer me these questions 3, then your real relative will show up and you can ask them whatever you want to know, and you can say your heartfelt goodbyes and all of that bullshit. But then this one is really funny because in bold it says, do not attempt to film this. Because it won't work. And it'll be, we tried the cemetery ritual at 4 a.m.
Oh man. At least that one has a purpose.
Yeah, that
You
one
can talk
does.
to grandma,
you can say,
but like that's so bad. Like, you know what? If you can combine like the spear and the scorpion stuff with that one, it would be like at least a decent ritual, I guess.
yeah, it's like there would at least be something. I don't know, because it's like I suppose the biggest problem is that like rituals do not have to follow a prerequisite of like occulty stuff to be effective. They just have to be effective. But the problem is that most of these come across, and that's the thing, I'm not trying to complain. It's like, oh, these aren't real magic rituals. It's just like, it's interesting the ideas from like a cheap internet horror understanding of the occult versus what the occult looks like from an academic level or from the level of somebody who is in the nitty gritty doing stupid, spooky woo-woo.
Right, yeah, it does take away your ability to enjoy these things, but it also brings out like that weird side of the supernatural, because there's so much that we just like, you know what, it's an idea we take for granted in the occult, is that this stuff has like a purpose and you're supposed to be doing it to like do something.
Yeah, I mean, and I guess that's the thing. Like you mentioned the summoning a demon thing, and it's like, it almost makes sense of like, yeah, of course, the Lesser Key of Solomon and all these things makes all these things about like, here's how to protect yourself from the horrible demon because they're an asshole and they'll try to fuck you up. It's because it's like, yeah, no one's going to summon a demon for kicks. The only reason you would do that is if you thought you could get something out of them. And then meanwhile with here, it's like, here, just do this for kicks. There's nothing in it for you. It also might kill you. This is a horrible trade-off.
It's just spooky Russian roulette.
Yeah. At least you know how many bullets are in the gun in Russian roulette. This is like there's 15 different ways it can kill you.
You
for
summon
nothing.
a magic bullet and you spin the barrel.
This is one that is arguably a little better. It's just so fucking cliche. And I think we even joked about this on the Cult of Saturn episode of like the go into a church and desecrate it and then do this and you can talk to the devil, but he'll only answer you in riddles. And like, that sort of shit. But that's literally what this is, where it's like you have to go to a church at midnight and you have to like draw an inverted cross on the wall. You just like, I believe it's a mirror, but either way, it's like you do something and he shows up. You have to go tit for tat with the devil answering questions where he will ask you a question and you have to be honest. And then you have to like figure out if he'll answer a question, and if you got the answer right, he'll tell you the truth. But if you don't know if you answered the question truthfully or if you answered the question right, he might be lying to you. So you just have to know whether or not you're actually, and the whole point is that he's going to ask you like really hard personal questions that are going to have you questioning things about yourself. So you're not actually sure if you're being honest or not, with the intention of trying to break you down. That sort of thing, with the ultimate goal of like, he's going to try to trick you into staying too long because you can only play this game for like an hour or something like that. And once it gets past that, then all of a sudden the devil can possess your body and do something crazy. And then it ends with the twist of implying that whoever is writing this is actually the devil who has possessed somebody who screwed up the game.
Oh.
And it's like, ooh. But it's also, it's one of those where it's like, yeah, it's a little creepy, but it's also that idea of like, I'm just not always super big on this idea of like the devil is like this used car salesman type guy who's just waiting around to fuck with you.
Yeah, like I hope you know, I had the image of like the devil as like a red dude in a seersucker suit when you were telling me this. Like that
100%.
is exactly what I was thinking. It's just like jive devil fucking tricking you. Like, I don't know. Again, like what's the point of this? Like what? Like if you beat the devil, do you get something?
Well, the idea is that like, say he gave you an easy question or something that you just absolutely knew the answer
You
to.
could
He
get
said,
any
"Hey,
knowledge out of the devil, huh?
he will give you an answer to some question, and then you can just be like, all right, I'm done playing. I got the information I needed, and then call it. So like, there's arguably at least like secret knowledge to be attained. But then I think it even mentions that it's like there's just certain things like the devil. If the devil doesn't like, he doesn't know everything. So it's like you might ask him something and he'll just be like, "Shit, I don't know, buddy."
How do you cure cancer? Fuck, I don't know.
Yeah. I think that's actually one of those that gets mentioned. It's like, don't ask him for that. Like, there's just certain things he's not going to tell you. So it's like, you got to know. So one, it's like, you got to know for a fact that you got the right answer.
How pissed off are you going to be if you do this to figure out something and the devil's just like,
maybe you should just break up with her, bro. I don't know.
Okay. I think we got time for one more.
In that case, we're going to have to go with the only good ritual in this entire thing. And I will read this one completely in its entirety because it's very short, but it really does get to the point of something that I think is like there's a tangible benefit here, you know? And of course, this is a joke. In the most deserted part of Wyoming, there is a restaurant. There are no roads leading to it, no signs advertising it. It's just there in the open. Walk inside, and maybe you'll learn a thing or two. 1, it's jam-packed with people talking and eating and enjoying themselves. And 2, the entire place looks like a scene from the 50s, including the people, the food, the newspapers, the music, and everything. Take a seat, observe the atmosphere, relax. When the waitress comes to take your order a cheeseburger with mashed potatoes. Afterwards, a redhead lady should ask you to dance to the tune on the jukebox. Find a song that has the same number as your current age, pick it, and dance your heart out. When the song ends, a flash of light will engulf the whole scene, and you'll be standing outside your home the following morning. You now should have the power of clairvoyance for the remaining year. If you didn't do this correctly, then woe is you,
or you missed out on the best meal you'll ever eat. It's like the clairvoyance thing is almost like, yeah, you'll have clairvoyance. But the important thing is that, man, that is a really good cheeseburger. I'm telling you.
Oh, man. Just why? Why? Who wrote that and thought that that was something they needed to tell others?
I don't know. I think it's supposed, like, I always read that one because I remember reading that one a while back too. That's why I chose it for last. I always thought that was just a joke of it's just like, you know, like I guess you'll be clairvoyant for the rest of the year. But the important thing is like the cheeseburger, all right, man? I'm telling you, if you screwed this up, man, boy, did you miss out.
It is a great subversion of the genre, I guess. I gotta respect that, but like, what the fuck? That's so stupid. We didn't talk about the one that I was alluding to earlier, actually.
Oh, what was that going to be?
I believe it's called the 2 Kings or the 3 Kings ritual.
Oh, okay. Here, give me the broad strokes of that one. How's that one work?
It's another one of those ones that has just enough of an occult aesthetic to make you kind of think that like this might be a thing, and it has some benefit to it, but it's just kind of hokey. You have to like get a chair and like 2 mirrors and set them up in a particular like spot. And you have to put like a salt circle around the whole thing. And you have to wait till like 3:33 o'clock. And then
it all sounds very, this sounds very part and parcel for these types of little stories. So
yeah, exactly, right. But when you do, it's like 2 kings will appear in the mirrors on thrones, and it's like you can't move or something like that. I don't remember specifically, but the whole idea essentially is that you can get like information out of them. But
okay, so it is,
but you can't do certain things, or you burn in hell forever or whatever the fuck it is.
So it's actually kind of similar to the devil game.
Right, but less it's less like, I guess bullshitty. Like, cuz there's no like, the tricks are like you have to like make sure you don't like move, and you have to make sure that like a certain time, like the time ones are always the big ones, right? Where it's like you can only do it for this long, otherwise it'll fuck you.
But you can't look at a clock either because
yeah, exactly. That sort of stuff. But at least this one seemed to have like a tangible benefit because you can get information out of them somehow, that sort of thing. So there was at least that. But I always think of that one when I think of these creepypasta rituals, because it was the first one I saw and I was like, there are easier ways to do this. This is like hardcore scrying. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like, this is the hard version of it. Like, this is like making it harder than it needs to be. Which is the interesting appeal to me. Like, because I think that obviously I'm under no illusion that most people reading creepypasta rituals aren't actually looking for occult ritual to do. But it's one of those things of like, even if you got curious about that sort of stuff, I feel like if you spent 5 minutes looking for stuff, you'd be like, well, fuck, I'm not going to do the one that like might make me burn in hell forever. Maybe I'll try this Black Mirror shit.
This ritual said I got to chop off my balls and send them to somebody. Man, that sounds like an awful lot of work. Maybe I'll just learn tarot. Yeah. I figured runes might be a better step. And I suppose that's the funny thing about these is that it's like there's this component of like mortal peril, like the idea that like magic, the only way you could possibly get some sort of magical outcome is to put yourself in like horrifying danger, which is just like, I don't think there are any occultists that are saying like, yeah, you got to put yourself in peril if you want shit to work.
Well, it's like you said with the Key of Solomon, right? Where it's like, occultists are very big on protecting themselves. We have all sorts of rituals and things that we do that are like, nah, you're not going to get me, demon. No, sir. I know your stupid fucking tricks. Get in the goddamn circle.
Absolutely. I mean, it's like occultists are using not real mongooses to get rid of not real snakes, We're trying to get rid of the problem before it's a problem.
The only other thing I want to talk about on this, and we'll do it kind of brief because we're already running long. What do you think about the ritual format for these things? Is it like the appeal? Is it that they feel like they're doable in some sort of way?
I believe it's the
It's there was a word for it that I can't remember, but it's that idea of presenting something fictional in a way that gives it an appearance of legitimacy or an appearance of realism that makes it more terrifying. It's the way that Lovecraft stories are always written in these like they're journaled or written down at firsthand accounts, or Call of Cthulhu uses all of these news clippings and there was a story I got from investigating here, that sort of thing, that makes it like where it's not real, but it's the same thing as found footage, where found footage it's not real, but it's shot in a way to give you the impression that it is, and that's the fun.
If only there were better writers.
Yeah, you just have to be, but at the same time, what do you want for free on the internet?
Yeah.
But that cheeseburger, though,
that's the one ritual that I would probably try for this.
Yeah.
No, because I have to go to Wyoming. That you want to talk about dangerous things. That's the most dangerous thing you do on that whole list, fucking listeners. Don't go to Wyoming. Don't go to Wyoming. And if you're in Wyoming, fucking, how's the cheeseburger? Okay, so let's wrap it up. Time for the nice palate cleanser. How goes the work?
Well, last time I said that I was doing something very specific and that I was going to give you the details of what I was going on. I tried to get a petty revenge on somebody who wronged me because I was just really sick of their shit, and I can say wholeheartedly that it did not work in the slightest. I might as well have been pissing in the wind. It's like it completely fell on its face, and I think I just got too enamored in feeling like I was wronged and being like, I really want to get back at this person for anything I was doing to be effective. I should have just gone and punched him in the nose. But
so are you blaming it on lust of result?
Oh yeah, 100% blaming it lust of result. Yeah, I thought I was doing well because I was shutting up and not saying anything about it, but I think I was just actively focusing on it far too much.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, the one slight benefit to falling flat on my face with that is that I had time to reevaluate how I was feeling and saying, well, what do I actually want out of this? So I'm going to try to redirect and work towards resolving the grievance rather than having a based and dragon-pilled act of stare chucking.
Well, I'm sorry it failed, but I'm glad you at least kind of had some thoughts about it.
Yeah,
that's always been my problem with trying to get revenge too, is because anytime I try to get revenge on anybody with magic, well, I mean, I've had successes, but usually they were
I've had successes and then just ended up feeling bad, where I was like, fuck, man, why'd I do that?
But it never worked like in the couple days after either, in my mind. Because I was just still sitting, every time I saw whoever it was like, man, go fuck yourself. I'm just like, you're going to get fucked. And it was just that, it was, I couldn't let anything work because I was too worried about like, fuck you.
Yeah, that's totally. And I do think that there is also a thing too of like, anger as the drinking the poison, expecting the other person to die. Sitting there being mad about it isn't good for you either.
Should have just punched him in the nose.
Yeah, when you fail, you fail. Hopefully, I come back next episode with a real win.
CMN breaking news.
All right, listeners, I just want to come right in here and say real quick that the day after I recorded that, saying that it didn't work, the situation actually resolved itself. Long story short, the person who wronged me said, hey man, we cool now. And they gave me liquor as a peace offering, which easy way to win me over. So they're saying we're cool. I'm saying we're cool. Magic is fun. How goes with you?
Oh, I'm back. I'm still where I was at. I'm just kind of doing my basic practices and focusing on what the next big thing is. I think I might commit to a particular stuffy robe tradition for a little while. And that'll be fun because if I do that, I have a set time period I'm going to do it for, and then I'm going to try to do all of the same things that I accomplished with doing the stuffy robe tradition via ludicrous chaos magic methods, and I'll compare those, and that'll be fun. I can talk to you guys about it.
Oh, that'd be a really fun experiment, I think. Do you possibly have a 3 a.m. ritual to get the spooky ghost that's haunting you to come out and make you a cheeseburger?
I'll let you know once I get the stuffy robes going.
All right. Well, if all else fails, try rice.
Well, with that, this has been Chaos Magic News, the only occult podcast you can listen to at 3 a.m.
As always, if you want to be fucking based and dragon-pilled, and when I say that, you better crank that reverb and echo and have it go based and dragon-pilled, pilled. You can find out more at chaosmagicnews.com, where we'll have articles, links to the pod, interviews, and much, much more. We are trying to really get an upload schedule more consistent on there. It's a work in progress, but we'd really appreciate if you check it out. We're also on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, where we post links and updates on what's going on, and a lot of funny memes, which you love you some memes. So go ahead and get on there. Am I leaving anything out?
Beep, 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 beep. CMN breaking news.
Hi, I'm Johnny Francis. And what they forgot to tell you was that the CMN community now has a Discord. You can find the link at chaosmagicnews.com or on our Instagram or on our Facebook or pretty much anywhere else. Please come and join us. It's a fun time.
Beep, 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 beep.
Nope, I think we're good.
All right. Everybody go fall down a flight of stairs.
And with that, you had 2 different nicknames, so I'm just going to call you Markiplier. Markiplier, would you like the last word?
Based and dragon-pilled.
All right, everybody, we'll see you next time. Thanks for listening.
All right, bye-bye.
It was a meta ad, and I'm pretty sure it was for a VR headset of some kind. But I just see a guy with a VR headset, like, sitting there, like, looking like he's having a great time, and it says, "Don't pay for shipping." And I'm just like, yeah, don't pay for shipping. Just VR that shit.
Just put the image in front of you. The signifier is so detached from the real.
Pure ideology.
Pure ideology. That makes sense because I'm sniffing so goddamn.